In a time when the written language wasn't taken for granted, when apple was actually a fruit, where language wasn't abused, when communication was face to face, and where tablets were a piece of clay for trading, not a device for self-taken photographs. But have you ever wondered how this came about? How the written language was formed? Let's find out now.
You may be surprised to find out that the written language wasn't formed in this room, G06 1.33, but instead we need to take a trip back to Mesopotamia, otherwise known as modern Iraq. The time is 3500 BC, where the Sumerian written language was formed.
Let's start with a story. It all began with two average Sumerians who were disputing the trade of a goat. The Sumerians were confused as to how to fairly trade agricultural needs. It appeared that they needed an answer to their problem.
I have an answer to your problem. You need to trade the goat for these clay tablets. Now use these clay tablets as a way of trading.
The Sumerians were happy with the outcome, and they happily traded the goat. It was only when the Sumerians realized that there were too many clay tablets to keep track of, and to keep safe. This problem was solved by placing the tablet into a sealed clay box. They began inscribing strokes and symbols onto the lid of the box. This helped keep track of what was inside. These first symbols were known as the birth of writing.
Eventually these boxes and clay tokens were phased out. The Sumerians began pressing symbols into wet clay surfaces. This was done using a reed, which was cut to form a wedge-shaped instrument, which was then pressed into the soft clay. These inscriptions gave this writing system its name, cuneiform, which means wedge-shaped.
The first symbols that were drawn were known as pictographs. This meant that the symbols were purely logographic with no literary reference. Recording spoken sound came in at a later date. The symbols of this time were direct representations of the object. For example, a head was drawn as a head. Over time, the symbols became simplified and standardized so that they were easily reproducible.
The Sumerian written language was not made for aesthetic values, but instead to focus on functionality. The written language was made to help with recording agricultural trading and to record important cultural stories.
But how does this relate to today? A man is drawn to represent the men's toilet. This is the same as the early stages of Sumerian pictographs. A head was represented by drawing a realistic head shape.
This idea has been extended even further into design practices today. Take a logo of any company, and it is made to convey many meanings and messages about the given company. This idea brings us back to the Sumerians' use of logographic symbols to communicate with each other.
Oh, I get it now.
That's so interesting!